I came to Oak Grove in 5th grade. As we can tell, not much has changed. The reason why I came to Oak Grove was because at my old school I was not getting the attention and support that I needed from my teachers. Our teacher at the time, he had 35 kids in a classroom, but he ended up getting all the very loud kids, and the kids who were quieter and more who behaved just didn't get the attention they needed, so I just kind of sat throughout 4th grade in the classroom. And when I visited Oak Grove, it was just the people that came here. Everyone walked up to me. The students in class never hesitated to talk to me. Everyone just came up and introduced themselves. And looking back at that now, that's really the reason why I came to Oak Grove, was the community and people here. But in 5th grade, the reason why I came to Oak Grove was because of clean bathrooms and a handball court. If there was no handball court, I wouldn't be here today. But luckily, they just built one. So, my first art is the art of academia. And the art of academia to me is just basically performing well in class and studying and getting good grades. That's how I view this art. And my focus question is, in what ways have my study habits improved throughout the years? Some may say they didn't improve, because I just, from freshman to junior year, I would study until basically I broke down and my brain was dead and I wouldn't be able to study anymore, but I felt like I had to study more. Throughout all my years, I've had a notebook where I would write down information repeatedly, especially our junior year final for history. We had like a 60-page study guide, 56 vocab words, an essay that had 6 essay prompts, but only one was going to be on the test. And I felt the need that I had to memorize every single thing that was on the study guide. And I just rewrote everything over and over and over again until my hand cramped and I just basically end up in tears somewhere. And by the end of just junior year, I think I filled out maybe 3 notebooks of just repetitive information. And this year, I've only filled out like 1 notebook. Not saying that I don't study anymore. I do study. It's just that I realized that I don't need to study as much as I originally thought. I'm able now to recognize when I'm going to hit that breaking point and like relax before I get to that breaking point and just stop. Because grades aren't everything. They aren't what defines you. Your personality is what defines you. Grades are just a small part that aren't the end of the world if you get a bad grade on the test. So my next art is the art of communication. The art of communication to me is the ability to express oneself and communicate a message, not only between like a conversation between 2 people, but in front of an audience and in front of a crowd. As long as I can remember, I've always hated speaking in front of a crowd. Like freshman year, my hands would shake, I would get dry mouth, my voice would shake, and I wouldn't be able to hide it. And we had a presentation for Paul, and I knew my hands just shook so much, and so I put my hands in my pocket. I was like thinking ahead, like I'm gonna hide my hands so no one's gonna mention it. And then the advice that Paul gave back to us was just show your hands. I tried everything to hide my hands, but I was supposed to show my hands because he's like, it looks like you don't want to be up on stage. And I was like, I don't want to be on stage. So my focus question is, how has my public speaking improved throughout my time at Oak Grove? I'm not saying I'm the best public speaker now, but I feel like I'm able to hide my dislike of public speaking more than I have in the past. I've realized techniques that help me. One is that I try to avoid making eye contact with people, even though it's hard. I try to just look above everyone's heads. That's what I did during my India speech. I made zero eye contact with everyone. And also when I have a speech, I break it up in paragraphs, so where the break is, it reminds me to take a breath, because I feel like we forget to take a breath while speaking. So I chose the India night as my artifact because I thought that was my best way of hiding the fact that I don't like public speaking. My second artifact is a video from Showcase. You guys already heard the terrible jokes, but I'm gonna show you one more time. This was just, I got roped into this, and if they asked me freshman year, I would never have let this happen, but I wanted to try to challenge myself, and it was a fun time, so. You get one more bad joke.
Well done, well done. Well done, yeah. Who's ready for another joke? Yeah? Yeah?
Ready.
All right, Gary. Whoops. What do you do with a sick boat? A boat that's sick.
What do you do with the sick boat?
You take it to the dock.
Speaking of boats. Thank you. Our next song is Buy Me a Boat by Chris Jansen. Please welcome up Nayeli, Sunny, Sycamore, Nathan, Luna, and Eric.
Sycamore singing, that's right.
So, yeah, I don't like public speaking still, but I'm able to get myself onto stage and do it, even though I don't like to. So my next art is the art of relationship. And this art means to me is like building strong relationships that are beneficial to me as well as beneficial to other people, among my peers as well as teachers. And the overall idea is just being nice and helpful to everyone, like just among everyone, teachers and peers. Since I've been here at Oak Grove, since 5th grade, I feel like I know a lot of the staff here, and over time there's just been so many inside jokes that developed, and I'm not really sure where they came from. They just happened and they still happen. Like, I'm able to walk up to anyone and they'll just make a joke and I'm able to make it back. The teachers here aren't scary adults. They are actually just, I view them as peers that teach me in class. So my focus question is, how have my relationships among staff improved throughout the years? Not only do I view them as friends, they just helped me throughout the hard times in high school or difficult times, especially Jennifer. One of our inside jokes, I'm not going to explain it fully, but it happened during LCAP this year, and the catchline is, "Hey Jennifer, look." So, that's all you guys got. Jennifer knows what I'm talking about. But the college application stress happened the summer before senior year. And a lot of the college research I was doing was on my own, because my mom had never gone to a 4-year university right out of high school, and so I was just doing a lot of research on my own. I was just kind of clueless of what I'm supposed to be doing. And these are one of the many emails between me and Jennifer, and one of the many conversations between emails or texts. This one's just asking about something about community service on a UC application. Jennifer was so willing to allow me to text her during the summer and email her throughout the school year and just ask so many questions about college applications. And I don't know if I would have been able to do it without her. So just this relationship and community here at Oak Grove just has helped me through the hard times and difficult times. So my next art is the art of inquiry. So the art of inquiry is the ability to fact find and problem solve when you're in the unknown. And my focus question is, how has my ability to problem solve improved throughout time? This story has been told a lot throughout my high school experience because I feel like it's a very defining moment to my high school experience. I was freshman backpacking. This trip involved a lot of challenges for me. I'd never gone backpacking before. I wasn't the biggest fan of hiking, and Bo stuck me on the hard trip, and I questioned why he stuck me on the hard trip throughout the first day. And to make it more difficult, my shoes fell apart the second day of the trip. We were hiking through the river and stream, climbing under trees and through poison oak. And when we got to camp, I looked down at my shoes, and my soles of my shoes were gone. And in that moment, I was thinking, I need the spot, I need the helicopter, I'm not going to be able to make it out of here. How am I supposed to hike out of here without shoes? And Bo calmly said, we'll figure it out in the morning. What was there to figure out? So that night, we go to bed. The next morning, I see Bo with some rope and some rags. And our intern, Kyle had some duct tape. And Bo was like, we're gonna make this work. So for 2 mornings out of the camping trip, I had to lay on my stomach with my feet facing up as Bo tied these duct tape rags to my shoes. And eventually those fell apart after 2 days. Then I had to hike out the rest 8 miles in our intern's Nike Airs, which were like 3 sizes too big for me. So it was a lot of challenges, but it allowed me to realize that you're able to make something out of nothing, and you have to sometimes if you don't have the resources at hand. I'm not saying I'm like, oh, and I can just make this happen out in the wilderness. I don't have that skill out in the wilderness, but I was able to use it when making a Halloween costume this year for Russ. I told Russ that I wanted to see him as Russell from Up, but it was very last minute. And he's like, we'll do it next year. But I'm not going to be here next year. I wanted to see it this year. So the night before Halloween, I looked in my closet and I found an old brown dress of mine. I cut it up, hot glued, found some cardboard in the trash, cut it out with circles, hot glued little badge things on them. Found a bandana, which was a napkin for my kitchen for Russ. And it was just communication between both of us to get it done, but I really had nothing to make a costume out of, and I just used the resources that were available at the time to create a costume for Russ. So, yeah. So, for my Pathless project, I've always enjoyed dressing up, whether that was in my Renaissance costume, my princess dresses, with my aunt, or just drawing on my face markers. So yeah, I've always loved the idea of dressing up. And freshman year, I discovered special effects makeup, and I wanted to be Edward Scissorhands for Halloween. So I watched hours upon hours of YouTube trying to figure out how to make hands, and makeup techniques. So I ended up with with Edward Scissorhands. I was doing makeup a lot my freshman and sophomore year, but as the stress of junior and senior year came, I just stopped doing makeup. So the opportunity to have these 10 days open with no stress of school, I wanted to just do makeup. And so my original plan was to do a mentorship, like have a mentor who would teach me makeup techniques and different things. But because I'm self-taught, and it's been all trial and error figuring things out, and so I wanted someone to teach me. But all the people I called just canceled or they were busy. A lot of the people I had were like, we're taking a 3-month break right now. Like, no one was available. And I asked my mom for help, and she was calling everyone that she knew, and it just didn't work out. But we ended up finding Nelson Cooper, who was a special effects makeup artist on this TV show called Face Off. It's like Fashion Runway for special effects makeup, for those that watch Fashion Runway or something similar. And I did not end up doing an internship with makeup. He was doing another project with special effects, and I kind of just sat on a stool watching him cut and wood and like test things. So it wasn't the ideal situation, but it allowed me to talk to him about the makeup world. And the main thing that I got out of it was fake it till you make it with that. Like he was saying, like a lot of the jobs he gets now, he doesn't necessarily know how to do like right away, but he doesn't tell him that, because if he told him that, he wouldn't get the job. So never say you don't know how to do something. In order, just accept it and try to make it work out for you. Kind of like creating something out of nothing. So because the mentorship didn't work out, I focused on creating my portfolio and expanding it, because a portfolio is just what people see. It shows your work and shows what you're able to do, and that's how you get hired for jobs. So throughout this, I wanted to also do it on different people, because all the makeup I've had done before had been on my face, and people have different face shapes if you didn't know. So it's hard. It's just different doing makeup on everyone else. So this is Grace as like a creepy dollish thing. This is myself making myself look ill. This is Kenner as like a mermaid that's kind of falling apart in a way. And this is Sigmore, who's like a creepy old man clown who got shot in the head. I was just trying different techniques and different things. This whole project, though, confirmed that I want to do something in theater or in film, especially with the behind the scenes. I want to be able to create new characters and new worlds. So it just, because I've been going back and forth on it for a while, like if I wanted to or not, and this just confirmed that I want to be behind the scenes, whether that's costuming, makeup, or set design. So, moving on from there. I'm moving to onto UC Davis, which is not really known for its theater program. It's more known for its agriculture program. But theater is not my only interest. For my alternative major on the applications, I put chemistry, which are two very different things. But Davis offers over 100 majors, and it's relatively to switch over if I ever wanted to, because I didn't know or had an idea of what I wanted to until the end of junior year. So it might not stick fully, but it just gives me more options. I had been going back and forth a lot from Bennington, which is out in Vermont, and UC Davis. And I ended up choosing Davis because it's closer to home. I'm ready to make the leap out of high school, but I'm not ready to make the leap across country. And although it's a way bigger community than Oak Grove, people have already reached out to me, and I've already contacted my roommate, as well as a girl from the India trip that we met. She's also heading to Davis and reached out to me, and Edward, the alumni here, reached out to me, Davis. So it feels like a community's growing together that I really appreciate about Oak Grove, and I'm excited to have at Davis. Also, my little brother is super excited that I'm going here. He went on the tour with me to Davis, and he heard they have a bowling alley and arcade, and he looked at me with big eyes. He's like, Ophena, this is where you're going. So he called in the very beginning before I knew anything about where I wanted to go or anything. So, yeah. So my final artifact. My final artifact is a picture of the whole school. Because the people here, there's the campus that brings Oak Grove to life, but it's really the people here that make Oak Grove Oak Grove. My time at Oak Grove has been like, fun and enjoyable due to the people here. I view the people here at Oak Grove as an extended part of my family. They've just known me for so long. And I don't know I don't know any other school where I could walk down and know basically everyone and everyone's willing to say hi and interact with the students here. Every teacher and staff wants to know how you're doing and wants to ask you how your day was. Even though high school had its ups and downs, the people here were what got me through it. And even on like the worst days, there would be at least one person that would be able to like crack a smile on my face. So, that's my final artifact of Oak Grove. Any questions? Ashton?
So Davis may not be known for its theater program, but does it have this kind of studies that you could switch into?
Yes, they do have a theater program. That's my major at the moment, that going into it as, and focusing on the production side of theater. Any other questions? Yeah?
I'm curious how your love for the movie, or for the special effects makeup got started.
I think it was just really my family because they've always dressed up and like have always gone to the Renaissance fair with my grandma and dressed up as like a Renaissance peasant. And my normal clothes when I was young were not normal, ordinary clothes. They were actually like my princess dresses and my Renaissance costumes and my Halloween costumes from the past. So there's always been that interest of being a different character and like creating something new. But I think what really got me into it was Halloween freshman year. Because I've always loved Halloween, I've always loved dressing up, but I've never done like the makeup part of it. And Edward Scissorhands is such a character that relies on the makeup in order to make him come to life. That I learned about it, and it was a new way to dress up into a different character. And,
you spoke really eloquently about like not sweating the exams and the grades and everything, and just curious, I think, looking at that progression, where do you think that anxiety or pressure to study so hard, or where do you think it came from originally, and what advice would you give to like the sort of younger students who are just studying their brains out and getting so anxious and about these high stakes exams and so forth?
I feel like the stress came from myself, really, because my mom was the one who was telling me that you don't need to stress over it as much as you already are, like relax, take a break. I just feel like the stress came from me. I think that people just need to realize, which I didn't realize until maybe this year, like midpoint this year, that grades aren't the defining characteristics of who you are. And it's like, or like SATs, because I remember being super stressed with the score for the SATs too. Like, that's not who you are exactly. Like, that's not who you are. And like, if you want to apply to college, you also have the opportunity to have the essay part to like show who you are as a person. Does that make sense? Maybe.